Hey everybody in Internet's land, I'm Chris Combs and I'm here today with the Charlie Milo Trio. Woo!
Hey!
Alright, we've got Charlie, Dan, and Michael. And you guys were recently on tour. Tell me a little bit about that.
Tour was good. Because you've been on tour with this band before. There's lots of downtime, and the hardest part is figuring out what to do when you're not playing a gig. You know, when you only work for 4 hours a day or 4 hours a night, it makes the rest of the time seem really long. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, but we found out, well, I hadn't seen Black Panther, so we watched all the Marvel movies.
Awesome.
On our downtime.
And I hear you're a pro bowler, and so you cleaned the floor with these two in bowling. Is that true?
Yeah, I bowled a 140, and it was enough to...
Against Charlie's stunning
Mike didn't
40.
even play, so that was an easy win. So yeah, no, you didn't get 3 digits, did you?
I beat you the second time we played.
So we only played 2 games, no best of 3.
So
we have a tiebreaker. We have a rubber match.
Yeah, we gotta set the frame straight. Isn't that how you say it in bowling? You set the frame straight.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
But
so
Dan's actually a professional ping pong player.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Ping pong. Okay.
Yeah, if the band thing doesn't work out.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah,
Mr. Backup.
Yeah.
Awesome.
If the band thing doesn't work out, he's going to do the bandana thing.
Excellent choice. Is that your cut that frame?
No, that's his diving for ping pong.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I recognize.
Is
that what I look like?
No. That's just why I'm not a professional ping pong player.
Moving.
So I'm going to jump in.
Moving.
I'm going to jump in real quick and ask you another question.
Do it.
So how long has this iteration of the trio been together?
Michael and I have been 3 years now?
Closer to 4, I think.
4 years. Michael and I have been playing together for 4 years now, and Dan's been in the group for about 4 months, right?
How's it treating you?
Well, it's good. It's started right away. I think usually, like when I join a band, there's a lot of it's a slower build to get to where we're at, but we just kind of jumped right in, and it helped. I'd already heard a lot of his tunes with probably you on there.
Oh,
some of the recordings, right?
Yeah.
So I got to listen to that. That helped out a lot.
Cool.
Because the bands that don't have anything recorded.
Yeah.
They're like, you can play my songs.
Or they don't
listen to them.
They don't know how to write it down in any way.
Right.
Shape, or form.
So then that takes just the time to hear it a few times. But we kind of jumped right in. Went on tour. It's been fun.
I can just imagine somebody with a lot of scarves going, no, it goes doom doom cat, doom doom cat, doom doom cat.
Yeah, there's a lot of scarves in Colorado Springs. I've learned a lot of bands wear a lot of scarves.
Several scarves on one person.
Right. Yeah.
It's a popular trend.
Is it here?
Scarves. It's cold sometimes, so.
Oh yeah, I'm talking like the dead of summer. They're still wearing them.
I thought that was like a subgenre of dwarves.
I thought it was like a Palestinian thing.
Palestinian dwarves?
Yes.
Paladidian dwarves.
So,
I can do it too.
Describe to me the writing process now that you've got a solid trio that you're working with.
I write most of it, and we've tried writing a few times, and I think we've written 5 bars amongst the 3 of us. We do a lot of, like, whenever we sit down and try and write something, not a lot happens with the 3 of us, but whenever 2 of us pair up, an idea can germinate there. Or a lot of times we'll start repeating rhythmic motifs or chord progressions throughout the course of a few nights. Like on tour, there were a few things that kept popping up that and that's kind of like its own form of writing.
Right.
what I need to remember is having you guys that I can, because when I do write music, it's kind of like silly. It's like what I want to hear a band play, but you can never have a band play like the Zappa approach, where obviously I'm not writing anything like he would ever. He's a genius, but he would write stuff and then he had the players to do it.
Right.
So I can start bringing some goofy ideas to the table, and having people that can actually play stuff. If I want to write a silly song and some crazy time or something like that, we can make that happen now. Because I played mostly in rock bands, and it has to fit a formula, and that's the nicest thing, is not having to be in some kind of a mold with this group. We can kind of play
to our
whatever style
our detriment. We can play many different kinds of music.
Because we were talking that the bars want to know what kind of band you are,
right?
And if you say rock, it's easy for them to promote that, but then if people show up to hear a rock band and they get us, So, but that's the toughest thing, is like the genre.
Yeah.
Was that your next question?
That actually brings me to my next question.
What music do we play?
The genreification.
Why do you think you have had so much trouble escaping the jazz genre?
Because I love jazz, and it comes out in my playing, but I don't. Honestly, I think the thing that we most incorporate jazz wise, other than the jazz album that we're getting ready to record and release, is just the improvisation. Like we we'll play a song straight through and then improvise to create like a gateway from the end of one song to the beginning of another. Or sometimes we'll improvise in the middle of one song and then steer it maybe through other songs and then back to that. And I guess that, the jazz cats were doing that before the jam guys were basically, Jerry Garcia, and then got the idea from John Coltrane to improvise in that manner.
Right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Improvisation does not equal jazz. Just because they improv does not mean they're a jazz band. Cool.
Yeah. And a trio means I didn't know that until recently. Somebody said that trio makes it sound like a jazz band.
Yeah, well,
I never thought of that, because I love John Butler Trio.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
And I never, maybe that one band is what made me think you can have trio in your name, and not be jazz.
And I'm not a fan of the jazz label, because I feel like the people that do want that label are on at least by today's definition, they're on a very specific path.
Right.
Like the people that want to be called jazz are doing one of the three applaudable things in jazz, versus if you're not on one of those three paths, then jazz can work against you, because if people think that you're jazz, then there's the group of people that will just sort of say, oh, well, I don't understand jazz, so therefore I just accept that they're good at what they're doing, and I'm not going to try and understand it beyond that. And then there's the kind of people that go, oh, jazz is shit, and so I'm not going to give second thoughts. So that's why we I don't know, it's a hot and cold thing, because we try and deter that with writing simpler songs, but at the same time we're the next thing that we're probably going to put out into the universe is literally 6 jazz songs.
Right.
So
yeah. Okay. Well, and one of the things that I've found about you guys is there's a lot more depth to the compositions than just a straight ahead traditional jazz, like a lot of people think of when they think of jazz, or the weird, the out there spacey stuff. There's a lot more actual writing, and you introduced lyrics into your writing process. So why don't you talk a little bit about where some of your lyrical content comes from?
Well, Chris, Sorry,
I need something to take.
You know what I needed? I'll do it again.
Take 2.
Well, Chris,
I'll take the second one.
My lyrics, my organization process for the last, I'd say, like 5 years has been ruled by the alphabet, and I feel like it started with I need an alphabet of original songs with lyrics, an alphabet of original instrumental songs, cover songs with lyrics, cover instrumental songs, and so that's where that started. And the lyrics are, it just sort of came out of whatever was happening around me or whatever popped into my head, and then I started organizing them into like silly songs that don't mean anything, songs that pertain to something in my life, and then songs that tell a story in like a shared universe concept album kind of way.
Cool.
And so that's kind of my driving force behind lyric writing right now, is that I need talking about the titles, I need an A through Z of silly incoherent songs, A through Z of songs that pertain to my life, and then A through Z of songs that tell a complete story. And then in there's subcategories. So like in take the silly ones or the nonsense ones, for instance, there's stream of consciousness, and then there's Dadaism, which is the cut and paste, where you take something that's already written, you jumble all the words up, kind of like the thing on your fridge.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So there's that method of writing, and then there's just completely random, and so that kind of makes up the 3. So there'll need to be like 27 of those.
Surprise, guys.
And then instrumental's a little more like, from brain to paper to band. Mm-hmm. But even then, I'm thinking of things like, okay, how many songs in C minor do we have? How many songs, so I try and get one of each key, or, something like that. And I try to not write at the same tempo from one song to the next.
Cool.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Well, I don't write lyrics because that just sounds too much. I can't do it. So yeah, if I do bring songs, they'll be instrumental, and you can do all the lyric stuff.
Dope.
So what's next for you guys? Where would you guys like to travel to? What would you guys like? What are some big shows that you?
We were just talking about doing the no shows in particular that I can think of, but we just did Southern Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, and since I've been in Colorado for 8 years, and I've played Denver, but never kept going to like whatever's up from there, Fort Collins into Cheyenne. I don't know what's going on up there, but it might be neat to try like in northern Colorado.
Is there nothing going on in Cheyenne?
Nothing.
So
actually that's good, because so we were saying recently, like making Colorado, just hitting Colorado, just hitting it as much as we can, finding the places.
I would not be opposed to going to Las Vegas.
Yeah,
or like the greater
Little Las Vegas.
No.
Okay. We tried that.
Las Vegas minor.
We saw a homeless man. Well, my experience with mini Las Vegas was a homeless dude walking down the street with no pants, no underwear, just straight naked from the waist down.
Oh,
nobody cared. He was just doing his thing.
I call that Thursday morning.
I was going to say he probably had a nickname in town, like Pantsless Bob or something, like Pantsless Pete.
Dead pants. Yeah.
Okay.
I guess you said big Las Vegas too, but
my big goal has been just California for a while, just like hitting that coast, and that would feel like an accomplishment, and then like working our way to New York.
Okay. There's some, going back to Colorado, there's a great place for you guys called the Mishawaka Theater. Have you ever played there or been to there?
No, but I know that bigger acts play there.
Yeah, you guys would be great on a bill like that.
I would love to play the Mishawaka, like Keller and people.
That's the
play.
town?
Yeah.
No, it's the little venue.
It's in Bellevue.
Yeah,
right?
it's up the Poudre Canyon or Poudre Canyon.
Yeah, that's kind of where I want to check out. See what's Gosh, I love Poudre Canyon.
Poudre Canyon.
Poudre Canyon. Hey, you ever been up the Poudre Canyon?
Poudre
Canyon.
Get a Poudre put here.
Like a long, skinny one stretched out across the top.
I'd wear that, sure. People ask about it.
It looks like it's giving birth.
Looks like a bad guy smiling.
I've got so many that I want to say, but I don't want to ruin the interview. One thing that I really like that you guys have been doing lately is really trying to take over social media with content, and
I'm trying. Yeah, these
guys
to
stay off social media.
Dan's a neo-Luddite.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
not so much just all tech, just social media. Really, like I want our stuff out there.
Yeah,
for sure.
Like the music.
Yeah, but I don't know how that works. But you say more is better. Is that the new thing?
I think so.
See,
yeah,
I grew up the opposite approach. Like you,
me too.
Yeah, the mysteriousness.
Yeah,
mysticism.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the people that, like the people who are still alive. Like I don't know. I mean, I guess it would be kind of hard to imagine somebody like Eddie Vedder doing like a weekly podcast kind of thing or something like that,
or daily podcast,
or but I just think that unless you are already at that level, then you can't really afford to be in the shadows, and just release like one or two golden eggs,
I heard a great aphorism to that effect. Is that
too big of a word?
That if you're not in the discussion online, you won't be in the discussion offline. Yeah. So people are getting this content of yours, and if they're not getting that, they're not going to be coming to shows and talking.
Yeah,
offline.
Well, and also I feel like I'm playing catch up, and so that's why I'm doing like a lot of it now, because I feel like once I hit a certain bed, I'll sort of return to like normal. I don't know. I mean, I like doing the stuff on YouTube and the podcasts and things like that, but like I'm trying to get like 1,000. Like I think all of us have like beyond surpassed 1,000 posts on Facebook, for instance. No, you don't think so?
I don't post on Facebook. That's what I'm saying.
No. Like you don't in the course of your entire Facebook online thing, you don't think you've posted at least 1,000 times? Maybe.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is like get 1,000 tweets, photos on Instagram. I haven't done Snapchat yet because that seems fucking retarded to me. Only good looking
1,000 times.
Only good looking people are on Snapchat.
See, I just think of the oh shit, I can't say it.
What?
Oh, I guess I don't need to name anybody, but I think it'll be obvious when I say it. But I just know. So in New England, because I grew up in Connecticut and New York, it's an East Coast thing. You lived in Boston long enough. It's not so much like a perfectionist, self-conscious thing about putting things up, but everything there is so cutthroat. So if you put something up, it better be good. Otherwise, people will shit on you.
Yeah.
They'll be like, dude, we have so much stuff to look at. And I remember moving to Colorado, and a couple people made a song a day thing. And I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, anyone can put up a song a day, but how many of them are going to be good? Maybe 10 of them. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's where and I think there's some kind of compromise where we can post like quantity, and because you were saying quantity not over quality, but that quote you said.
No, I don't. I think that you still want it to be quality, but I think that A, you got to start somewhere, and B, it's the quote that I read was quality is king or something like that, but quantity can no longer be overlooked or something.
Yeah, and I've been so left behind. Like you were saying, that I don't know how that works. You look at these streamers and stuff.
Yeah, that's honestly like where it started. My 8-year-old son watches these people play Minecraft, and I saw one of them do a tour of their house, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, well, I can be retarded. I was like, I can film myself.
Well, and the thing I like about the way you guys are doing it is you are trying to set a quality standard. And I think the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it.
Right.
You know, and every day you'll come out swinging just because it'll be second nature to you.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing too, is like, if you wait for your... It's like I don't have the time to become a professional speaker before I have a daily streaming morning show.
Right. Yeah.
So like people can just watch me stutter through it until I become a better talker.
Yeah.
It'll be like a losing weight thing, but it'll be like shedding face pounds or like mouth pounds or something like that.
Yeah, and you've become a better speaker through it so far, I think. Just looking at the progression of the episodes and looking at the progression of the podcast.
The first one is really fun to listen to for motivation sometimes. The first program I did where it was me by myself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So what do you think as far as Colorado goes? Do you feel like you're in the mecca for jam bands still, or do you think that's kind of past?
I don't know anymore. I remember when I was younger, Mike and I met at the Colorado Springs Conservatory. So when I was, we'll say like 8th grade, freshman year in high school, I thought with whatever band I hit with, it was going to be a jam band, because like Lotus was killing it, String Cheese Incident was killing it, and just like all these sort of bands out of Boulder and Denver were really, and even some popular one, like real popular ones too, like One Republic is
One
from
Republic,
here.
The Fray is from here, aren't they?
Yeah, and so like you know, the saying was always you gotta go east or west to achieve your fortune and glory. But I've always thought that there has been a home for Colorado grown music, and I've seen it a little bit with the dance scene. Like there's Colorado EDM, and it sounds, you know, slightly more mountainy.
You can hear the granola.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can hear the flip flops in it.
Yeah, we were talking about that. How Colorado deserves its own sound, like a Detroit.
Detroit
has like that funk, and
well,
it's like Detroit or whatever. Like Colorado has.
I remember when,
maybe not, because it's such a. You know what I mean? It's so many influences. In. Well, that maybe it's homogenized.
Years ago, Chris and I saw Break Science, and granted, they sound completely different now.
Yeah.
But back then, I remember thinking, like, this is like the Colorado sound right now, like this sort of funk, electronic influenced kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, when I was like 12 and 13, I thought, you know, when I grew up, I was going to be in a live tronica jam band kind of a thing. Something that sounded like Mo or Humphreys McGee or something like that, because those guys still write, even though they're jam bands. But now everybody plays the ukulele, and I don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
like
go ahead.
All the bands, even on like a local level, like all the bands that were together, all have these like side projects where it's just them and an acoustic guitar,
right?
And I'm not shitting on that. Like, I'm sure mine's in there somewhere, but I just it's kind of like, you know, you're training for the big fight your whole life, and you get there and it turns out that it's like hog wrestling, like, you know, like how long can you hold on to the pig in the mud when you've been training for like a pride fight or something like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
I was gonna say, we've been talking about dialing in, because within our jams we'll get into the house, like 4 on the floor type of a thing. But between these guys, obviously Mike's rocking 3 synths, and your pedal board, you can get those. Oh yeah, there it is. And I was thinking that might be a cool thing to develop. is that because you don't see that a lot. It's like the live, just gotta get people like stuff. What I can't think of the bands. Like, what bands would you equate that to when we get into those jams?
Well, see, I feel like the jams that we get into are kind of like Lotus in the early 2010s, or like
In Excess.
In Excess, the New Deal. I feel like that I draw a lot of inspiration from those guys.
2018 In Excess. That's right. That's what we're mixed between.
We're actually going to start an In Excess cover band called In Asphyxiation.
I'm trying to remember if anybody's dead in that group.
Yeah, one of the guys like.
Did he do it?
Yeah.
Oh no! Too soon, Charlie. Too soon.
I'm sure his family members are over it by now. They're just like mopping up their tears with the like millions of money that they have.
That need you tonight, money.
I say that, but I don't even know who In Excess is. I just know that the guy
need you tonight.
I don't know that song. That's them.
Yeah,
that's Oh, see, I thought that was I always thought that was like the first half of the extended edit of Burning Down the House.
Okay, I can see that. Man, we should see. So actually, you bring up. That's a good point with Talking Heads, because what did the Talking Heads do then? That
they were,
because I was talking to my dad.
They were funky when it was like not okay to be funky, right?
Yeah. Right. So now, when you go out to an open mic, and it's kind of crazy because you can be an amazing talent. Like if you're an acoustic guitar player, singer, it's just a singer-songwriter, you can be amazing, but are you gonna like turn heads? Like I don't know anymore, because there's those videos of Dave Matthews when he was younger, getting on stage playing these songs that are mega hits now. And people are like talking over it, and it's so I don't know how so that's kind of that edge or niche I want to find is.
Yeah, you gotta send more emails.
But in the live situation,
right.
keep constantly developing some people to turn their heads and look at the stage.
Somebody on Facebook.
It takes a lot now to do that.
Somebody on Facebook suggested that we tried this once, nobody showed up, but then somebody suggested it as like a real thing that bands should start doing. Is they should have a paid entourage to start showing up to each show, like a fan base that you like pay money to show up at each show.
Yeah, it's a weird mentality with that. Like it does take just a couple people to get it started.
Well, it's like we talked about it on tour. Sorry, I don't mean to keep interrupting you, but we talked about it on tour. Like if nobody's watching the band anyhow, and all they're waiting for is the first person to do that, if we just start applauding for ourselves, then people out of wanting to be polite they'll be like,
I think it's even they're not trying to be, they hear it and it's like a knee-jerk, it's like a natural reaction to start.
Right.
But basically, like the live show is what I think I want to keep working towards, is having just like a killer live show.
Yeah.
Whatever that means, which is ever changing.
You got to find some crazy person who will set up lights every single night for us. And then we got to make enough money to pay that guy. You know what I mean?
That's a really good question. What do you think you guys can do? Because the music playing field has kind of been leveled in a way, because everybody can record themselves. Everybody can build an audience. So what do you do to separate yourself without becoming a gimmick?
I was just going to say, because there's so many times I've thought, like, man, Buckethead had it right all along. Just have a gimmick, having something to back it up. Like, these guys can back up. If we did a gimmick, if we just decided to do that, I would be comfortable knowing that we had something to back that up. It's not just a straight gimmick.
Right.
But without a gimmick, that's tough, because I don't know, like, that's what I'm still trying to figure out, is what to do live.
I'm almost at the point where I've been pounding away. I figure if I've been playing shows, at least if I average out good months and bad months, if I've been playing shows 2 to 3 nights a week since I was 18, it's a lot of time spent on the music side of things, and so I'm starting to see if this monster can grow tentacles and see if off the back of this I can do things like make a coloring book for adults, because that's a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I just feel like at this point, like anything that exists, we can have our own version of it just because it's so easy to do so.
Yeah.
And at your funeral, you could be like the random person that somebody's like, do you know we had a coloring book?
He's being buried with the final copy.
The only copy.
It's like, do you know we had a coloring book?
Motto.
Do you know we had a coloring book? Yeah, do you know that motherfucker owed me money?
Yeah, he borrowed $5,000 to make his coloring book from me. He never paid it back. He didn't sell one.
Once you're dead, it's a collector's item now.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's a good idea.
Oh, well, I mean, I always try and think about, I mean, Mozart and Beethoven were popular in their time, but not this popular, as popular as they are now. If we did a podcast together, that's what the name of it should be.
Separate chunks. Separate chunks with Charlie and Chris. Works on so many levels. And
it's a serious. Oh,
damn it, Charlie.
That'll be
super easy to edit.
That yours. Oh, we did it?
Yeah,
That's
we're
gonna
good.
work?
We're in.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll just, through the magic of editing.
Cool. No, dude, this is all much to Dan's surprise and probably chagrin that this whole thing, as it is right now, is probably going to go up.
Nope. I won't lie. See, that's the thing.
It just bats it down right before it hits the net.
Man, that's the side of me I can't wear off. I wish I could put. I think. Okay, this is the problem. I think the people that I love, like these bands, like if Zappa or Ween or any of these people, like you were saying, any content they put out,
right,
I'm on board.
Right, like you said, Wiener.
Wieners. There's a lot
Zappa
of
or Wiener
or yes. So it's like that makes sense.
No.
But that's
what
predicated
I'm naming mine now.
on the fact that we already love those people.
Yes, that is true.
Right?
But
Isn't that the conundrum here?
yeah, well, I understand that, but that's just not like how it works anymore.
And I don't know.
Like
how it works.
nobody like, unless you're like a made guy, you know what I mean? Unless you're a made man, like nobody really. I don't know. I feel like the new form of celebrity is almost seeing people like being born. It's like little individual versions of the Truman Show.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, and it's like people are like I said, obviously I'm playing catch up, so I'm trying to get to a certain bed to rest on, and then I'll dial back the oversharing and the over tweeting and stuff like that. But yeah, Twitter is fucking awful.
Yeah. True story.
Dude, people just, I don't know what it is about Twitter, but like you can like lob something that would be that you would like shit out on Tuesday morning on Facebook and get like 25 likes, and maybe a comment from Dan's mother or something like that. And but you put something like that on Twitter and people can be like, you fucking shit, I hope you die, motherfucker.
Twitter's just like my Instagram dumpster. That's all I use Twitter for.
Well, what happened was we were on tour, and like I said, a lot of downtime. We literally had enough time to discover that we liked club crackers with Jif peanut butter on top.
That's pretty great.
And so we, during that time and binge watching the MCU, I went to my own personal Twitter page, and I was just like, how the fuck, like I downloaded the Twitter app, and I said, how does this work? First of all, like, I don't understand. How is it different?
First tweet? How does this
No,
work?
well, and I went there and I realized that the Charlie Milo Trio band page was linked to my personal Twitter account, and my personal Twitter account was linked to the Charlie Milo band page or something like that. So when I realized that, I was like, well, let's get the right person tweeting in the right areas. And so I got that all cleared up. I unfollowed everybody. Like I went back down to 0. I followed back everybody that was following me, and then a bunch of celebrities. Got into a public fight with James Gunn, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Awesome.
Not my intention. Like I said, there was a comedian that put it so perfectly. He said, a lot of people just treat Twitter like the Candy Crush of words. You're just sort of like, whatever, it's like whatever wit light goes off, you just put it out into the Twitter sphere. James Gunn was posting a bunch of anti-gun stuff, and everything on Twitter goes directly to the person.
Okay.
It's like, I think after a certain amount of traffic, you stop getting notifications on Facebook.
Mm.
But like this went to James Gunn, and so what I said was, what did I said? Like, looking forward to a gun-free Volume 3 or something like that, and literally like it started like a whole bunch of like James Gunn like wannabes / fuckboys just on my dick from there, just like, obviously a gun nut, and Charlie Milo can't tell the difference between entertainment and reality. And it's like, well, I can cop to the second half of that. Like, I really, really want to believe that Batman exists. But at the same time, it's like, and then as it keeps going, to me, it's just like, oh my God, I can't believe it's almost like I still have the reaction to Twitter that like somebody did in 1999 when they played chess with somebody from Japan. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, these are real people.
Yeah.
Even though they're saying like, I had to look up what soy boy meant. Somebody thought that me in my hat looked like a soy boy.
So like the equivalent of like vanilla, granola.
I think something like
okay.
that. I think it's like the Mumford fan kind of thing. And I just was like, oh, this is so weird. Like, these people, it's like, you've heard the phrase, the insults land at your feet.
Yeah.
These insults were literally landing like 10 to 20 feet behind me. And I just was like, okay, well, not a gun nut, but thanks for the reply.
Yeah.
Retweet, hashtag,
Check out the Charlie Milo.
Yeah. Oh, and I started doing that on Facebook now as like a form to like keep myself sane. Like I'll post something about fucking, I can't remember what the last one was, but it'll get so many people's fucking opinions about like what I just posted. And I think the last one was about like getting paid as a band or something like that. And it just was literally just like, whatever. Like I didn't
You're
give
a provocateur.
I
Facebook.
Yeah, I guess so. But at the same time, like, I'd rather talk about Batman. But the stuff that gets people like commenting is all the nasty negative stuff. So like, I think one time I got like 100 comments about my water drinking habits, and that was the first time I tried it. I was like, well, hey, if you guys have time to give me advice on water, perhaps you have time to check out my music. Here's a link to my Bandcamp.
Yeah, I guess that's the connection we need to figure out, how to direct traffic to
the music.
Yeah, like send them off.
Okay, this is the segment of the interview I like to call "What's Up with Michael." Hi, Michael.
Hi, Chris.
What's on your mind, buddy?
Well, I'm just watching you guys.
It's like,
what's on your mind?
Silently.
That's your eye. That's on your eyes.
My beanie.
It's like a bunch of monkeys trying to hump a football, isn't it?
I'm not on social media much, and that's been the crux of the conversation the last few minutes. So
right, that's true.
Michael is on social media. He's on Facebook, and
Facebook's just an instant messenger. That's all.
Right. And Chatterbait. Yeah, we don't talk about the millions of followers that Michael has on dirtyroulette.com.
Followings.
Yeah, that's followings. He's a followee, not a follower.
See, yeah, I'm not on social media either. So I'm trying to
So
that out too.
Michael is on YouTube at Duke of Hot.
You are?
Yeah, you can type in
stuff up.
The one video that I recorded my first fucking year of school.
Oh, like performance?
My shitty ass playing the stupid jazz tune.
See, that's what this all comes down to is, let's say somebody looks up Charlie Milo Trio on YouTube. Don't you want the first thing that, or at least the first 5 results, like, because that's what they're going to click on, to be like if you have one, because you have one chance, like you have people in this, they have every possible thing they can check out, so you want it to hit.
I agree. You have one chance per, 1,000 people, tens of thousands of people or whatever, if that makes sense.
No.
So
wait,
like we're not waiting for like the CEO of Interscope to check out our shit.
No.
You know what I mean? We're more realistically, we're hoping for the next bar manager to look at it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So like when you say, "Hey, check this out,"
and the most plays we have is the video for "Have Another Drink on Me."
but does that sum up who we are?
Well, no, but that's because it costs money to do these sorts of things.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. I'm not saying I have an answer. I'm just saying I don't know how that works. An EPK like this, what can be edited into it, and somebody can see us and then see like our performance maybe, or
the raw audio is gonna go up as a tweet. I'm gonna
transcribe it and tweet this entire thing in text.
And that's what Donald Glover did with his okay Deadpool script that everybody's going crazy about. Everybody's like, "Oh, just because it's Donald Glover, it's good."
See, I wonder if we're at an advantage because, like you were saying, Chris, everyone has the ability to make. You can buy a laptop and get free software and make an album.
Right.
But I think that's a huge disadvantage, and I think that's gonna hit some kind of a
critical mass,
right, where it has to fall apart. Like I think, hopefully, and this is what I'm hoping for, is that you see these DJs with just like a laptop at Red Rocks, and once everybody can do that, people are gonna go. It's kind of like I was telling Charlie. It's gonna be like how dubstep happened, and that was just a very concentrated version of it. Where dubstep came out. Oh yeah, and I still like it. When everyone it hit, dubstep came out, and everyone was just like, "What is this? This is fucking awesome!" And then of course it became the joke, like, "Dude, dubstep, come on!" Like that shit's like a month old now. We're over it. So I think that's what's gonna happen. Maybe on that. So I think that's the advantage we have.
I talked about this on the last podcast. Like I mentioned you specifically talking about how music's going to have to hit this point where everybody can do it to the point where nobody's going to want to do it.
No, I told you. I don't know if you brought it up on the podcast. I was going through Instagram after I said not social media. And there was they have the ads on the Instagram. There was one for song creation. Chord progressions, tempo, everything. It writes a song for you, royalty free. And I guess you would just buy that and put lyrics on top of it, so you get these like poets and stuff. So now they don't have to write music. But that's good, I think, because now I think there will have to be a distinction between music that came from a certain place creatively, or one that was just like shit out through an app.
Well, and I think that it's even beyond that. What's going to happen is there's going to have to be so many people. So many people are going to have to do it, be able to do it so easily and readily availably that everybody's doing it.
Yeah.
So everybody's doing it, and then it's got to hit the point where nobody cares anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's literally And so it's going to have to be a thing where enough people are going to have to walk away from music before the people that like that Matthew Shipp thing we were watching, the people that still have like the vocation, the people that are doing it because they don't really have a choice, those people are still going to be standing there like with their guitars,
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, we kind of have to hope that all happens, and on top of all of that, it becomes cool again to go see live instruments.
Right. Yeah. So it's got to kind of be the peak trough recovery.
Yeah,
Right.
the 90s need to come back, if that makes sense. Like, people need to go out to see a dude with, like, a guitar, a bass, and a drum kit.
Yeah.
And keyboards, maybe. That's good. So, real instruments kind of a thing, because that's what we ultimately do. We want to dive into, like, a lot of the sampling and shit like that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we're going to be playing our instruments.
Right.
And I think, last thing, I think a lot of what's going to happen is millennials, I guess. It's going to be cool. They're going to get sick of seeing, not just like hearing it, but going out and listening to like that. And they want to be like, man, remember when people played like guitars?
Yeah, it's going to be a craft industry again.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll become.
See, I think we're like 3 couple of decades long phases away from that, because right now we're still getting the like somebody goes to an open mic with a guitar and 3 chords and some lyrics. 80% of that room is like, well, I could do that. Like, you know, I've got a guitar, I could easily do what that person's doing. And so I think it's got to literally hit the point to where people are like, oh man, that person's actually playing an instrument. You know, like enough guitars are gonna have to like be sold. Like we're gonna have to be sitting on benches made out of old guitars before I think people are gonna want to see people performing with a guitar again.
That's a good point. Cool. Well, what does your tour schedule look like in the near future?
Nothing. We got a bunch of you're playing with us on Friday the 13th at the Ancient Mariner. And then we're playing this 420 Inc. It's like I still am not quite sure what it is. I think it's like an ink tattoo 420 biker fest or something.
Right down your alley, in other words.
Yeah, it's
that's our demographic.
The 420 bikers.
420 bikers.
Just see like a bunch of scarves like flapping in the wind.
I heard about your scarf insult, Jan.
And I'm a biker, so I'm mad.
It's Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. Oh, you can't even see his face. He's got so many scarves.
It's just sunglasses and like a Hunter S. Thompson like a cigar holder sticking out, and just scarves and a hat.
Hey Dan!
That looks like Mary Kate Olsen.
That's good Steven Tyler.
I nailed that, Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
Hey Dan!
Hey Dan! Come on, baby. Come on,
but yeah, we're playing a bunch in Colorado. I don't think we have anything out of Colorado for the summer, but yeah, we're gonna start recording because there's a lot of stuff out there with the drummers we've worked with in the past, like Emily and Khalil and this guy, and we want to record some stuff with Dan and put that out there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're going to be recording like a long form improv jam, because that's one of those things that another band has that I want.
Yeah.
Check that off the need list.
Right.
And then we're going to record it's going to be called I Thought You Guys Said You Weren't a Jazz Album or something like that. Or I thought you guys jazz band. Yeah, I thought you guys said you weren't a jazz band. And we'll record that and release it. And then we were talking about recording a white boy reggae album, so that the next time we play at Smitty's down in Pueblo, we'll get a warmer reception.
You got a bad reception in Pueblo?
No. Just like we got a good like turnout and reception, but when we started hanging out with the band that played last night and the sound guy, we realized that they were really like Sublime. So we want to be able to go there and have that, like the next time we play, we want their sound guy to say like, oh my god, these guys are like the best jazz white boy reggae band or California reggae band you've ever heard in your life.
And we're gonna do, before I forget, like Charlie Milo Trio CM3 does Hendrix.
Oh yeah.
Cool. So we're gonna learn like 20-25 Hendrix tunes. Bring our buddy Eamon in. Do you know Eamon?
Yeah.
Bring Eamon in and just do that, because I think that'll be another easy way. Because my whole thing is to, I think at the end of the day, like the day when people come to see us or like a band, like you were saying, it's an audition. When you go play a new place, they just need to make sure you don't suck.
Right.
So it's just a matter of getting that in front of people and going from there. But the Does Hendrix like we're doing the promotion. They don't need to do much to promote that. Be like, hey, do you want to hear 2 hours of Hendrix?
Mm-hmm.
People will come to see that. I think
And
that'd be a nice like way in for us too.
Right.
Yeah, well, and doing it with artists that we don't hate. Like obviously, we're all Hendrix fans on one level or another. And the other one that I'm excited for too is getting the Barely Garcia going with you guys both playing drums.
That'll be fun.
Yeah,
That'll be
if
good.
for
That's
no
gonna be
other
awesome.
reason other than that. But yeah, I found some isolated Jerry Garcia guitar solos,
Oh, awesome.
and I was thinking about doing a meta jam mix, like the kind of like right in the crosshairs between what the DJ side of me would do with that and what the bass player side of me would do with that.
Cool.
So yeah, all the stuff is happening.
Nice. Michael? What's on your musical bucket list for the next 5 years?
I thought you were going to ask him what was on his mind again. We never got an answer the first time.
What's on your mind
again?
Yeah, musical bucket list.
Chemistry.
Finish that fucking Chopin that I'm learning.
Okay.
Which Chopin are you working on?
B flat minor scherzo number 2.
Yeah, that one.
Easy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
My favorite.
Your jam.
It's the that one.
It's the famous scherzo that Chopin wrote.
The famous scarecrow.
Yeah.
Scarecrow. I love it. Okay.
Chopping down scarecrows.
So that's the big right now thing that you want to accomplish.
Well, I'm in the middle of it, but it's like fucking hard.
Yeah. Right.
And then I'm gonna make Michael record it as a part of his solo piano album that I want him to have.
Oh, that's royalty free, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's common domain or public domain
It's
by
public
now.
domain, yeah.
Oh, shit, we need a classical album then.
Yeah, totally.
People love that.
Oh yeah, that'll get us booked at Frankie's again.
CM3 does Chopin.
Do all of
I would love. I mean, I would be all about that.
The other thing that I wanted to work on is like the. Did you ever hear Jean-Luc Ponty performs the music of Frank Zappa?
No, but you told me about it before.
Like Frank Zappa produced that album, so it wasn't in tribute or memoriam. It was like produced alongside his like contemporary works, and so it was like, I'm gonna produce your solo album, but I'm gonna write all the material, hire the band, and take a guitar solo on one track, you know. And so it was for all intents and purposes a Frank Zappa album.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something I've kind of been wanting to do because I've got a lot of musical friends like Dallin Neuschwander.
Yeah.
He reads the music real good, and so we've talked about doing a Dallin on Dallin. Dallin plays the music of Charlie Milo, and that would be like saxophone quartets and trios and stuff like that because he can play all four.
That's at Big Dal the Super Pal, I believe, on Instagram.
On the social media. Yeah. Hey, what's everybody's Instagram handles?
I don't know mine.
I don't have Instagram.
There you
Damn
go.
it. Damn it. Damn it.
I'm at Charlie Milo Music, and
There
you're
you
at
go.
Chris B. Combs.
Nope, I'm at Chris Combs his hair.
I just tagged you as Chris B. Combs.
You tagged the wrong
guy, buddy. No.
Shit, Milo.
On Instagram is Chris Combs his hair.
Yeah.
Like that.
All right. Well. Damn it, Charlie.
Damn it.
Well, I've really enjoyed interviewing you guys. It's
Thank
been a
you for
pleasure.
interviewing us.
Yeah. And I just want to ask, where can you be found on the social medias?
Well, all three of us can be found on Facebook, facebook.com/Charlie Milo Trio, and on Twitter at Charlie Milo Trio, and on Instagram at Charlie Milo Trio. And then Dan and I are both on Instagram at Charlie Milo Music. And Dan doesn't matter. Dan's
Charlie
at
Milo Trio.
That's the one.
That's
Yeah.
the one. I don't use my personal one.
Michael, where can they find you if they want to contact you? Do they have to like send up a smoke signal?
Give me your address.
The Civilization 6 lobby.
I have to send a bat signal and shit, you know.
Yeah.
The batshit
Oh yeah,
signal.
what's your Steam, what's your Steam ID? People can play.
The bat shit, no.
The batshit signal.
Dude, that's what we should be doing, is giving out our gamer tags.
Oh yeah, I'm Charlie Milo with ones.
If you want to play Monster Hunter with me, or what else am I playing right now? Far Cry 5 just came out. Stun Operator. There we go.
Yeah,
Space Operator.
I like to watch Dan play video games. I'm terrible at them myself.
I love watching people play.
Right.
I'm awful. I'm just awful at them.
All of them?
Yeah, pretty much. Like Minecraft, suck at it.
I don't get Minecraft.
My kid is all
How
over
do you
that.
suck at Minecraft?
I don't get
all over
Minecraft.
that shit.
Oh, I guess you suck at it by like not knowing. But
Wouldn't kids hate Minecraft? It's just doing chores, isn't it? Like you're just literally just like, I have to harvest.
Well, I just remember.
I don't know why they would like that.
I kind of put the blinders on to Minecraft until Bo got into it, and I was like, he said, "Oh my God, can we please get Minecraft?" And I was like, and for a while I was like, "No, we don't want to do that. You check out the X-Men and Spider-Man," and that's just not cool to him. He wants to watch this guy named Moosecraft and Unspeakable Gaming. Yeah, he wants to. I don't know. They post like 5 to 8 videos a day.
Yeah.
Of them either playing Minecraft,
showing off their Lamborghinis.
I was gonna say buying amazing cars. But yeah, Bo, you know Bo.
Yeah, of course.
He has started to he's started to get the, what is that called, the gentleman's cut now or something like that.
I think it's called the alt-right cut.
Where it's like it's long in the front and short in the back and like a little bit not a fuzz on this little, because I guess he got touched up around the ears.
High fade.
But what he wants is he wants a pompadour with shaved with like faded sides and a plain gold chain.
Really?
Yeah, he wants to dress like probably my ancestors dressed up in Detroit.
Here's my final statement on the band. Is I think that everyone is confused. Nobody knows what they like or want in life. Like, we were at a coffee shop and this girl dressed like she was like 92. Yeah. She had like the ripped jeans and like the flannel.
Yeah.
And I just saw a thing where, you remember like back, how old are you guys about?
I'm 30.
34.
Okay, it's my age. You remember like if you look at childhood pictures of yourself in the 80s, you're wearing those ridiculous clothes, like the colors and stuff? Those are back. Like the neon blue, the yellow, the purple, that's back now.
Well, I think
so
what it is...
Nobody has any idea what they want or what they like. There's no image anymore. We don't have that anymore. The 70s had a thing, the 80s had a thing, the 90s had a thing. That doesn't exist.
Everything will be the lack of a thing.
Right, so come check us out, because we're anything... If you don't know what you like, just come listen to our band. You might like it. And then
you should come listen to the band. What I was going to say is I went to boarding school in Durango, in a school where there wasn't internet back in the days of MySpace, and even back when people were active on their MySpace, it was sort of like you'd get on like once every 3 days or something, and sort of like I don't even know what the fuck anybody did. Yeah, or something like that.
That plays when you go into it.
Yeah, that thing. You change your background or your song or something like that.
Learn HTML. Yeah.
But when I was at school in Durango, it wasn't like the internet had not yet become a window to the world. You know what I mean? And so when you were at school, you were like at school, and then you sort of returned and you saw. Society like move forward a couple, like half a year, you know.
Yeah.
And so like I remember I got out of boarding school trying to look like Rivers Cuomo, and everybody was wearing trucker hats and camo cargo shorts and like and no
those are back too. Speaking of shit that's coming down,
and giant dirty like DC brand shoes.
Oh yeah, the space boots.
Yeah. Jinkos. I would wear Jinkos just because I love the freedom and the noise. It's like you get that like.
That should be your next album title: The Freedom and the Noise.
The freedom and the noise. That sounds.
I bet you can get a Jinko. I bet you can get a Jinko endorsement too if you promise to wear them on the stage.
Oh man!
Show.
Dude, I would wear anything if anybody gave it to me for free.
So I think ultimately
the Ann Taylor.
Yeah, I
Or
think
by
that's
Milo.
I think that's the thing though, since everyone tries to pigeon like a genre. I don't think there is one anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no
I don't know.
genre.
There's that lame, like, I call it like the Xanax disco, that
Like shoegaze.
the you and I talk
Oh,
about
like
it.
the heroin induced music. Yeah.
You get a drum beat that goes like this, and then you get like one, like, and then you get like a female vocalist. No, you get a high pitched, you get a castrato vocalist, and then they start doing this, and then you have people going like this.
And then
The
you've
song
got,
changed my life.
and then you've got one asshole on stage with a floor tom.
No, yeah, not the drummer.
Yeah,
Not
not
the
the drummer.
drummer.
Oh no,
Right.
can't be the drummer.
So we're not that band.
That was a little nod to Dave King, by the
Yeah,
way.
rational
Oh, man.
funk.
Yes.
Check out Dave King. But yeah, I think I think at the end, I don't know, with our music.
I don't know. See,
it's just a matter of getting people in front of it. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what it comes down to? And then finding your fan base.
I feel like every time we've played in front of like 50 to 100 people or more, we get like a good response and we sell a bunch of merchandise. And whenever we play to a bunch of people eating soup, we get a poor response and we don't sell a lot of merchandise.
So,
if you eat
Charlie
soup,
Milo Trio coming to a festival circuit near you.
Hopefully soon.
Someday.
Yeah, last year we had Joan Osborne open up for us. This year we're in Chris Combs' basement. No, just kidding.
It's a nice basement, guys.
Shouts to @Joan Osborne.
At Joan Osborne.
I will say that her with an acoustic guitar player and a piano player filled up more space than I've ever heard that like combination of people. Like I actually felt like moving.
Sonically.
Sonic,
I think
like
their gear, but you mean like
no, like it was
sound
literally like one of the fancy Nords, and then somebody had like an acoustic guitar, and like every once in a while she'd pick up a tambourine, and just those three musicians doing what they were doing was like, it was like that was enough. It was probably also all that Meadowgrass could afford at the time, but I mean, it was like it totally. You were like, oh man, we just had like the folk equivalent of rock bands, and now Joan Osborne's going to come do the acoustic Bob Dylan set, and it was totally like, have you seen her do her Dead set where she does like it's 45 minutes of Grateful Dead music on I think she streamed it, and then somebody put that on YouTube. It's same instrumentation. It's really cool. You should check it out.
Nice. All right. Well, so it's been the Charlie Milo Trio. You can find them on the interwebs, and go check them out. They're a great band.